Hello, and we are about ready to start our first match for today. I am Trainer Anade, and I have Avalon here with me.
Hello, we have quite a close match here with LilKirbs and Shoujo living near the top of the table together.
Yes, so LilKirbs is second with that tied 4 wins, 1 loss with first through third place, and then Shoujo has 3 wins, 2 losses, and is officially at 6th place, but you can see on the win-loss chart that it's 4th through 8th all have that same amount of wins and losses. So it'll be really interesting because, of course, this could make that difference of, if LilKirbs wins, that'll give him that 5th win. If Shoujo wins, I'll give her the 4th win and bring her up to that other tier. Not that she's worse or anything.
With just one win between these two top groups, this is a really important match for both players. It will obviously put Kirbs up into that first spot solidly until IPK plays later, but it will bring, like you say, Shoujo into that same bracket as we go into the first level. To be or not to be? I'm really hoping this is as punny as it makes out.
Yeah. And it looks like Kirbs already just deciding, like, I'm gonna skip.
He is not having any humor.
He's like, I'm in it for the race, guys. I want to win.
And you can see straight away that Shoujo there suffering with a slight time delay as she has to wait for the blocks to fall down so that she can get around after hitting that on-off switch. So maybe Kirbs wasn't in a terrible position to skip.
Yeah, and it looks like there Shoujo deciding to take the skip too. Though it looks like there's a bit of delay having to wait on this second level too.
Yeah, it's definitely not a hold right. But LilKirbs there securing that first checkpoint, so at least he doesn't have to play through the shell waiting game again.
Yes.
As Shoujo unfortunately taking the death. The shell along the bottom hitting the Kaito block and releasing a single spiny.
Oh no! Kirbs trying to ride the shell. Unfortunately took that death, but because he had that checkpoint, luckily.
Yes, only half of the way back. Shoujo rapidly catching up though.
Yes. Seen this section for the first time, but she's going through it. Oh no! Of course, Commentators curse. I was saying she was doing it well, so therefore she had to die. But LilKirbs got the first clear.
Yeah, certainly taking that early lead. Obviously both people here making a good choice on the skip. Shoujo taking that first jump a little bit slower, obviously a little bit concerned about that first spiny.
Yes. It looks like this next level is called Shell Jumps Are Funny. So, an interesting level.
If it is based around the technique, LilKirbs should be okay. His whole Mario career is based around that sort of high technique play. So he should be okay with a couple of shell jumps.
And it looks like that is in fact the case. It's just shell jumps one after the other, and he's doing them perfectly. Very clean.
Oh, unfortunately Shoujo just a bit early on the jump, the shell not quite hitting the Kaito in time. LilKirbs taking that clear, taking a 2-point lead.
Shoujo looking at this this set, waiting for that Podobo briefly. Oh no! And trying to ride the shell, but it was already in the lava. Now at this point,
a shame.
Yeah, at this point she's sticking with it. Oh, and it looks like LilKirbs has a really easy level over here. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's over.
Taking a 3 clear lead, but once Shoujo gets through this level, those next 2 levels are quite quick ones, so not as big of a lead as it would appear.
Yes, and that's always interesting is what happens with these levels. For anyone who's not sure, the levels are simply chosen by, they are all expert levels with a 1.5 minute or less world record. So we can have anything from, you know, a troll level to shell jumps to this waiting game.
A mushroom.
Yeah, to avoid the mushroom game, which we see now.
That was very close there from that mushroom falling down. It's interesting because you see these levels a few times. Oh, Shoujo getting the clear, finally. But Kirbs clearing the mushroom level also, so it's still a 3 clear lead, 4 clears to 1. I was going to talk about how complicated those not collecting the power-up levels are. You know, when you're so used to playing them and collecting power-ups as you play through each level, to then have to try and actively avoid them all is it's quite a challenge, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, when we see players accidentally start over instead of going back to a checkpoint with a death, because it's just so automatic. Oh no!
Yeah. LilKirbs on a tech level. As Shoujo there also making these shell jumps look easy, as I bless her with the commentator's curse.
Of course. But LilKirbs getting that next clear as well.
It is a number of short levels here. We could be looking at quite a high clear score for both of the players in this run.
All right, and Shoujo taking that second clear. And it looks like yet another very short level. Wow.
That is insane. So many very, very quick levels. Shoujo here sitting on 2 clears now, but will very rapidly pull that up to 6. These levels in between are tiny.
And we still have over 9 minutes left in just this round. I don't know. I'm thinking we might be able, depending on these next levels, to see matching that 14 clears that was gotten a couple weeks ago. What do you think?
I'd say very likely, yeah, as LilKirbs enters a level with a 5-second world record. Annoyingly, it's to find the coins, but still a very, very quick world record. Shoujo there, clearing that up as well.
Yeah, I mean, and we can see that the goal's right there, so he just has to find the coins in order to win. Though it looks like there's a bunch of spikes there hiding behind that goal tape.
Yeah, you can just see them flashing out on the right there, as Shoujo's just making her way through this avoid the mushroom level. Yep. Unfortunately, getting trapped in the pit with the shrooms.
Kirbs taking a skip on that one, which is fair. He tried it several times before deciding, you know what, I'm just gonna skip it, move on.
Yeah, it is always a real shame to see those sort of levels where you have to find hidden blocks just to clear them. There's no real skill. It is pure luck as to whether you find them or not.
Yes, and Shoujo getting the clear on the don't grow up level.
Exactly, yeah. Like we said earlier, they're quick levels in between, so although LilKirbs currently up on the clears, there's very little in terms of time between them.
Shoujo on the tech level where she has to not leave the ground and then touch the ground. She got the idea, but just not quite far enough. There we go. And Shoujo with that next clear.
Yeah, a couple of good 12s there and all as well. The next one that she'll face again is just more jump and twirl. So another quick one should be for her afterwards as LilKirbs goes into this well-designed looking level.
Yeah, it looks like this might be more of an adventure level. Even reminds me of a lot of the Link levels we've been seeing recently, just without the sword.
I was just thinking that. It might be the theme, but I was thinking it looked very much like the Ninja Speedrun that Nintendo released with the Link.
Yes. And Shoujo, you know, going through, getting that clear right away. So bringing her up to just one level, or one clear, rather, behind LilKirbs.
Yeah, and just to address the questions in chat, the game is live. That was what the small delay was at the start there. But this game is definitely live between both both runners, as Shoujo now trying to find those 2 hidden coins without touching the spikes.
Yes. It looks like she's gonna go ahead, try a few times. She sees that little gap in the spikes that I think Curb saw as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling both coins would be on the other side of that. But making that jump twice is definitely no easy feat.
And Curb's getting the clear on that adventure-ish level. And looks like maybe another short one here. We'll have to
From
see.
the description, it might be a little Timmy playground level. There is a lot of Goombas stacked up there.
I mean, we've definitely seen worse, but oh yeah, and there's the X right there. So yet another very, very quick clear by Curbs, but Shoujo not too far behind.
Yeah, she's decided to take the skip on that coin finding level, which is probably the right decision. Neither runner able to find both coins, both finding that one hidden one, but the second one still too elusive.
And of course, one of the favorite level setups is the airship.
Yes, everyone loves that camera, slightly wobbling.
Though at least it doesn't look like this one is a auto scroll, so that's something.
Yeah, it actually looks like quite a well-themed level, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, Shoujo trying to make this run up the P-switch timer, whilst Curb seems to be having a nice little trip through the sky.
And we saw very briefly there, Curbs did the pause buffering, just to make sure that maybe there wasn't any hidden, or rather they weren't going to try to make him jump into the void.
Yeah, they are definitely not the greatest levels when you're jumping blind onto a single platform. And it is always good to see speedrunners trying to pause buffing as they do. That looked very complicated.
Yes, and he made it through the munchers, but missed the platform. But Shoujo getting the clear on that other level, so she is still 2 clears behind, but these levels are so short that we could see her still catch up even though there's just under 3 minutes left.
Yes, this themed level was slightly longer, obviously, but definitely not a big distance between these 2 runners.
But she went ahead, she took the skip, probably seeing the world record on that one was almost 1.5 minutes. So keeping track of her time, of course, very important.
Definitely important, but not sure it's the best level to use your last skip on, as she enters into this hellish enemy spam.
But we know that if she can get through this enemy spam, it's not very far till the end.
Exactly, it is a short level, despite the many things. There we go, just damage boosting through everything.
Hey, you know what, at that point might as well. And Curbs getting yet another clear, bringing him up to 10 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, definitely a well-designed level that Curbs went through, but quite a long one, so we'll see how Shoujo copes with it to try and catch up.
Yes. And so, yes, each runner has 3 skips per round. So Shoujo has used 3 of her skips and Curbs has used 2 of them.
Yeah, and that skip could make all the difference if, for example, a DGR level comes up, as he seems to have affected this league more than any of the actual runners have.
Yes, definitely. Oh, hitting... Oh no, I thought she'd hit a Kaizo block, but it looks like she just bonked, unfortunately.
Yeah, there were a few difficult jumps in this level that that we saw as Curbs went through it.
Yes. It looks like Curbs doing a ride the thwomp / avoid the other thwomps level, but right to the end, another super fast one. Wow.
Yeah, it is crazy how many quick clears we are. I mean, we're in double digits here, and to be honest, these levels just haven't seemed to affect these runs at all. They've been so quick. I'm actually quite shocked to see how far into the 15 minutes we are, with just over 30 seconds left.
And Shoujo accidentally taking the death to that flying muncher because the spring, I think, just she wasn't quite as prepared for where it was going to be. LilKirbs in possibly one of Timmy's levels over here.
Yes, it's always concerning when you see one of the Bowsers dropping down from the sky at the very beginning of a level.
Yes.
But he makes the clear.
Wow.
2 seconds on the clock as he brings up to 12-8.
Yeah, very impressive on both runners. Because, I mean, there were those couple of not as easy levels, but most of them were just, you know, fast, knocking them out.
Yeah, definitely a bunch of quick levels, but like you say, definitely not to be thought of as easy levels. They were definitely expert levels. Some of the enemy spam ones probably not maybe expert, but some of those speedy ones were quite tough.
Yes. Well, and it's interesting because the way that levels are decided to be expert, at least we think, is based on the number of deaths. So something like, say, that one with the spring and the treadmills, is there really wasn't a place for death, but if you lost that clear condition, you had to start over, and suddenly it became an expert level just because lots of people starting over.
Exactly. It must have taken a while to get used to that spring level, especially when you see so many of these high-end runners immediately jumping to get a bit of speed at the start of levels.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
All right, and so we're starting the second round now. So again, 15 minutes. Looks like we're starting with a bit of just a spam, but it's not too bad. It looks like it's more of a run and jump correctly.
Yes, definitely a timing-based level here.
So, you know, I started by saying it was a spam level, which it kind of is, but it actually looks like it's fairly well made despite that.
Yeah, it does look like the timers are well set up to sort of work with where you are in the level, despite it looking quite spammy.
And it looks like Curbs deciding to go ahead, take his first skip on that one when he missed a jump, and probably decided it's not worth it to try to get those precise jumps again.
Yeah. It's worth noting that neither Curbs nor Shoujo have cleared above 8 levels in less than 2 minutes. There's just a slight delay on the clear counter. It's still 0-0, just with Curbs on that one skip.
Yes. And it looks like this level that Curbs is in, he has to basically get around enemies in twisters in order to get a POW block. And making
it's
it
always
look really
something to be...
easy.
He is, yes. It is something to be concerned of, though, obviously, in speedruns where you're racing, you don't want to be caught into a puzzle level too long. But Shoujo picking up the clear on that kind of spammy level with good timing, which is quite large when Kirby obviously skipping it.
Yeah, so, I mean, as we've seen a number of times, is that skip or not skipping sometimes makes all the difference in the end.
Yeah, definitely. It looked to me like Curbs cheesed that level, rather than throwing the shell through the course. He did a shell jump to climb up.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like Shoujo maybe trying it the real way and then deciding nope, she's gonna skip it. So that means they're both at one skip, and because Kirbs just hit the flag, one clear. So at the moment, Shoujo has the tiniest bit of lead just because she started this next level first. Wow. Looks like another run as much as you can. Oh, and Shoujo getting the axe first time through. Very impressive. And just letting you guys know we lost Avalon briefly, but he will be back. So Shoujo getting that second clear while Kirbs taking the death to that Podobo.
Sorry about that. Affected by the English internet. It's as bad as our weather.
Oh no.
I am so glad that they put the sun into the Mario Maker 2. It's a real icon of the game as Kirbs takes that clear.
The thing that is probably overused, but so that does bring Kirbs to his second clear, just making sure. I think. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I saw as Shoujo makes her way through this. It looks like Donkey Kong almost styled level.
Oh, yeah, it really does. With the shells from Bowser there being the barrels, but oh no, we saw Shoujo fall to her death while Kirbs is just trying to get past this first section.
Kirbs, they're picking up a shell to use against Bowser Jr. That should be interesting.
And Shoujo taking her second skip, it looks like, deciding just try another level, maybe get a better option.
Oh no, unfortunately throwing the spring up instead of trying to throw it forward to land on it. The Knight Airship, of course, making items work in low gravity whilst, in this case, Toadette still playing on normal gravity. Quite a tough thing to switch into suddenly.
Yes, definitely. So I mean, you could see like right there where she threw the spring, but because she was falling so much faster, she had no chance of catching up to it. While Kirbs here is trying to fight Bowser with a Yoshi and trying to find maybe hidden enemies to use against him, or using his fireballs.
Yeah, the only thing is obviously using Bowser's own fireballs against him is you're asking quite a long fight there. This is going to use a lot of Kirbs' time up whilst Shoujo making her way forwards.
And it looks like Shoujo had figured out maybe a better way to do that spring jump, throwing the spring first. Oh no! And of course, commentators curse as soon as I say it. She goes and messes up. And it looks like it wasn't even Bowser that had the key here.
Yeah, that would have probably annoyed Kirbs quite a bit as he just runs into a Galoomba. Probably quite frustrated by that after the progress he'd made in the fight, having to kill Bowser again. Shoujo now taking another run up through the spikes. That fool would get her. It is quite an odd level that Shoujo's trying to make her way through. Although obviously you have the Knight Airship theme, it's still a bit odd in general. But Kirbs finally getting through that DK level.
And just making the goalpost there at the end. For a second I thought he was going to miss it, and I was like, oh no!
Yeah.
But now he's on to this next level. Shoujo's been working on for a minute or two now. It's named a Kaizo ? Though misspelled, but
I did notice the spelling, but it'll be interesting to see how they do in the same level. Obviously, with Shoujo having all the information ready to go, Curbs just coming into it. It always amazes me watching these runners with the caves, because I personally cannot fly in this game at all, and they all make it look quite easy.
yes, I am the same way. I can fly in the Tanuki suit, but I can't do it with the cape.
Yeah. Shoujo making a decision to skip it, which makes sense given the amount of time she'd sunk into the level.
Yeah, which is actually good, because a lot of the times we see runners fall to that cost fallacy of, I've been on this level so long, I might as well keep going.
Yeah, especially when it's one like that where you have to learn each point. You gained all this knowledge, and to lose it all to a skip is quite a tough decision, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially her last skip. But it looks like she might have made the right decision. Oh, and then yet again, I curse her by speaking, and she face plants into a Koopa.
Curbs also skipped the remainder of that flying level. He actually put a lot less time into it, though. So that could make quite a big difference later on.
Looks like they have to start it out here with a triple jump. Then, of course, getting around that Bowser. And then snake rides.
Everyone's favourite thing, snake blocks.
Along with auto-scroll and dark levels.
Yes.
Ooh, Shoujo doing a nice cheese, and Curbs following right behind. Skipping over, but then going too far because it was a blind jump.
Yeah, the cheese there obviously messing up the timing in the level. Curbs using the 12 just to get that Banzai Bill lined up, but Chain chomping him away at the top there.
But we did see the flag, so he is very close to the end there.
There we go, jumped over. Just avoid a couple more bullet bills and then to the flag.
Very nice. And of course that one block jump, rather difficult, but both of them making it look easy. And Curbs getting the world record just before. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's gotta be upsetting to see the level finish and then see yourself take the world record. You just know that you've done a good job on it. And then if obviously your opponent follows behind you and sees your world record, it must be quite tough to see. LilKirbs now one of those levels where you have to rely on the creator to get the on-offs right. Shoujo obviously in the same level.
So far, it looks like it's not too terrible, though we saw Curbs having to do some extra jumps there because they just weren't triggering.
The timing seemed to mess up on the vertical bits. It's lucky there wasn't a buzzsaw there, but it didn't mess up for Shoujo. She just cleared straight through it, which would give her a couple of extra seconds. Depending on how tight the timer is, that obviously could make the difference in this level.
Yeah, we see that timer on Curbs is getting close, so it might be, he's not going to make it. Oh, deciding to skip.
So he skips.
So that is his last skip.
Yeah,
an interesting choice.
I suppose we've got the advantage of seeing both runners. He might not realise that the timing is fixed and something just went wrong on that run. But it's good for Shoujo. It closes the distance between the two, making it 4 clears to 4.
Yeah, and now LilKirbs stuck in... Well, actually both of them now stuck in this next level of don't take damage with rising lava, and there was an exclamation block that was trying to kill you.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Quite an odd visual effect there on Curb's screen. This will be tough, with neither of them having skips left. They're going to have to make the decision in this league. If you take a fourth skip, you sacrifice one of your clears to do so. So they can skip this level, but it will put one of them down to 3 clears if they choose to do so.
So LilKirbs getting a little bit further along. Shoujo basically doing the exact same thing as him. Oh, and Kirbs getting the clear just in time.
I didn't think he was going to get that clear when it went through the pipe and it didn't hit the flag from the pipe. I thought that it was going to hold him there until the lava got him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure he was going to make it either, so that was close.
Yeah, opportunity to watch it again on Shoujo's screen just to see how close it is with the lava coming and the blocks changing over.
I feel like she had just a little bit more time there than he did, but it was still close.
Yes, definitely.
And then now we have this next level. Looks like it's a fairly straightforward speed run, at least at the moment.
It is good to see speedruns when they're 5-5, very, very close. Be interesting to watch how they beat this. Kirbs losing a bit of time with that 12 though. I wonder if the red coins will be necessary or not.
The creator throwing in a bit of a troll, putting a note block under those spikes. As we just watch in suspense.
It's just such a close race that, with less than a minute on the clock, it is very much looking like whoever gets the clear, which Kirbs does, could take the game. But Shoujo, obviously, if she completes the speedrun now, she will tie it, and we might see an overtime.
Yep. So it really depends on if she can get through it, and she sees the note block, gets over it, and the world record on this next level that LilKirbs is just starting is 9 seconds. So technically, it is possible that he could get another clear, though unlikely.
Yeah. The star already there, all he's got to do is run through, so you're right, he very possibly could get this clear. Shoujo there, taking that, tying it up at 6-6, but Kirbs, 4 seconds on the clock, making it 7-6. That was so close to reaching an overtime state.
Wow! Yeah, I mean, wow. Just that, as you said, 4 seconds, he happened to get that really short level and did it first time. Wow. Oh, that was so close.
I cannot believe how to the nail that was. Kirbs obviously getting very lucky with the playlist to have such a short level. But Shoujo just unlucky there. She beat that speed run in a couple of runs and just not getting that 9-second level that Kirbs got there.
Yeah, and I think it was her taking the a little bit longer on that cape level, where Kirbs, I think, took the skip.
Yeah, he skipped it quite quickly.
Yeah, and so she was just, a couple of seconds behind. Which is one of the interesting things we see is with this level of player, those decisions. Do you skip? Do you not? When do you skip? Can make all the difference, as we just saw.
Yeah, exactly that. Although both making the same decision, that extra time chucked him with a couple of short levels and Kirbs just clearing that out. So Kirbs will take the match, but we will still obviously play the third set because each set counts into the points of the runners for tie-break situations.
Yes, and that will bring, just because of the win of this match, that will make LilKirbs up to 5 wins. So currently he has the most wins. Of course, this is the first match of today, so that will most likely change, but...
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, IPK has the opportunity to answer, but he is, of course, playing the Dragon Fiends in that game, so it's going to be another very close game between two very skilled players, so it could be interesting to see who takes it, as LilKirbs not quite making the Yoshi jump there.
Yeah, LilKirbs just missing it. Shoujo going back for the checkpoint. And of course, this is another one of those levels of the dropping platforms that people don't love, but Shoujo taking the first clear.
Yeah, making quite short work of that level, as Kirbs only just hitting the checkpoint. Quite a decent lead now, as she goes into her second stage.
And it looks like this next level has a 4-second world record. So I'm not sure if it's... yeah, so we even see the flag right there. It's a precision.
Yeah, that is a very tough jump. This will be interesting to see LilKirbs do it. Those of you who do know who he is will know these are the sort of technical levels that he's quite good at. He might already know the technique required for this, but Shoujo making it look easy.
It only took her a couple of tries before she got through that too.
Yeah, such a tiny A input there, but there you go. Kirbs rapidly clearing it up and closing the gap between them. So it's 2 clears to 2.
Yep, with Kirbs only a few seconds behind at this point, and taking the world record.
Yeah, just leaving world records all the way behind him. Shoujo doing a quick check of the world record, I think, there, as she begins running through this desert level.
And it looked like the world record was like 1:22. Yeah, because I saw it on Kirbs' screen. So Kirbs deciding that's too long and taking the skip. But Shoujo going through... she made it to the flag, but apparently she needed 50 coins, and she's like, no.
Yeah, she's not feeling the collection. But again, it's the extra time she's put into that level where Kirbs has skipped it immediately. It's changed it from her having a slight lead to him now taking that slight lead. It's makes a difference when you take your skips. And these two really showing that.
I mean, the fact that this is so close, that timing matters. So it looks like this is Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not surprised that it's so close, because these two runners are both incredibly skilled players, and definitely, you know, this could have easily gone either way, this game.
Definitely. Looks like it's maybe a bit of an excavation level, though Kirbs trying to... Well, I was gonna say he's trying to cheese it, but it looks like maybe it's intended. I don't know, I see a lot of pipes.
Yeah, of course, the bomb timer resetting every time you change your world or use a warp door. But LilKirbs noticing that he's not being able to get the bomb timer to the top of that maze and just getting rid of it as quick as he can. I'll be honest, I am well and truly lost in this maze of a level. I have no idea who's where.
Yeah, I was trying to pay attention and figure out who was at what point, but Shoujo is at a point we haven't seen yet. This might be near the end, where Kirbs saying, nope.
Yeah, he won't be seeing the end on this level. He goes into Carla's Crazy Caves. That's tough to say.
Nice alliteration.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of stacks of Goombas and Koopas. Interesting level design here.
Yeah, definitely forcing LilKirbs to wait a bit longer than he'd probably like to. Oh, that was close.
I was sure he had been hit.
Yeah, nice little enemy delivery system there. Shoujo actually taking the clear on the maze eventually.
Yeah.
So she's managed to work that out, so she's now a clear ahead as she goes into the same level as Kirbs.
Kirbs making his way through safely. You know, a little cautiously, but of course that's not necessarily a bad thing when you have all of these hazards.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite challenging to keep your eyes on just how many things are on the screen. As Shoujo rapidly catching up to where he is in the level, actually. She's making quite quick work of this level, although missing that on-off switch there.
And that's another thing. Oh, Kirbs getting it. But with that difference is we're seeing Shoujo, at least this match, going much quicker where Curbs is being a little more cautious. Do you think that's one of the things making the difference there?
I'd say so. It'll be interesting to see if Shoujo takes the death, because obviously Curbs picked up the mushrooms as he went around the level. Shoujo coming through it a lot quicker. It's better to make it one run at 60 seconds than 2 runs that finish at 40 seconds. But she does clear the flag up, one shot in the level very, very quickly, and keeping her lead, 4 clears to 3, and only a couple of seconds behind Curbs on the level.
And it looks like this next level is our standard Bowser Castle. World 1 Bowser Castle, I think. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. Though now it's changing up a little bit, but...
Yeah, it's always nice to see revamps of classic levels, just to see what sort of new challenges people create in them.
As long as they're good revamps.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not a big fan of the ones which are an exact replica of a level, but then you just have to do it in a certain time. LilKirbs there, taking that clear.
Yes, I would agree with that. But that looked like a nice, fairly straightforward level. And Curbs onto Evelyn's course. Now, I don't want to make any assumptions that misspelling equals a child, but we'll have to see how this level is. Oh dear.
Oh my lord.
So Timmy's at it again.
I feel that you are very correct in your assumptions on this level. Wow. But LilKirbs, as soon as you make it into the clown car, seems to be quite clear as to where to go.
And making it there. At least it was a nice and quick one. Ooh, and Shoujo avoiding the Bowser. First time seeing it. That was impressive.
Very, very quick reactions from Shoujo there. It's always impressive when you see her really get into her zone, like that last level with the Carla Speed Cave, and now this one, Evelyn's level, just really showcasing her skill. Although I thought that fire was going to hit her.
Yeah, I know. She was on the fire when she hit the goalpost. Oof. And it looks like we have an underwater stuck in this area.
Yeah, these levels, essentially auto-scroll levels for all intents and purposes, but LilKirbs making it look easy as he goes up and down over the spikes. Collecting some
around
on the way.
Yeah, and around the fish as well. You know, just to make it more difficult.
Yeah. Shoujo there, showing how close behind she is in terms of levels, but do remember that she does have that extra clear as well. Although Curbs clearing that, bringing it to 6-6, Shoujo has almost made it through this faux auto-scroll.
Though something we saw that was really smart of Curbs, I mean, he's probably done a lot of these, is right here at the end, you can accidentally, get caught there. You saw Shoujo went up and over to wait, where Curbs just went right to the pipe. So it saved him maybe like a second. But
yeah,
when they're so close.
It's close, yeah. Every second counts. But Shoujo takes the clear, so that's 7-6. Is, you know, she's ahead by a clear, and then entering into the pipeline plaza, which Curbs got fed up of.
Yeah, so Curbs deciding to take his last skip with over 5 minutes left. He'll have to hope that he doesn't run into any bad levels, or he'll have to make a hard choice.
Interesting to see this level as he races the Thwomp, losing his speed against him as he makes the wrong decision there.
And it looks like he's not able to catch up at this point. So,
oh.
Just that little bit behind was too much. And Shoujo now seeing this level for the first time.
Yeah, we'll see if she makes the same mistake blind as Curbs there. Missing up, unfortunately. But Shoujo, yep, she has also allowed the Thwomp to get ahead.
But she decides to go ahead and just check and see. Maybe hope
surely. the Thwomp would probably get off-screened eventually. Yep,
Oh!
there you go.
Yeah,
So
maybe
Shoujo
that's...
making the smart play.
Yeah, very big brain play. That was really smart. I hadn't even... When she moved off to the left, I was confused for a moment, but you're right. She was letting the Thwomp despawn, and then she could go through it. Keeping that one
no
clear
problem.
lead.
Me and the Boys and the Girl is the next level with a 1 minute record. It looks like it's designed to be a multiplayer versus level. We've got Doom in the chat, and he plays in the versus league as well as this one, and he's probably quite upset to see an actual versus level not in the versus league.
Yes. And then it looks like a bit of a boom boom fight, but these guys are obviously experts, so not necessarily too difficult.
Curbs, unfortunately, falling down to the boom boom.
I really need to be careful about what I'm saying. I keep cursing them. Ooh, and rising lava.
Rising lava. That's going to be quite tough, unless the lava reaches that point and stops, in which case it's not going to be too tough for these players.
So it looks like it's just boss fight after boss fight.
Yeah, this to be fair is the versus level that I'm sure that Doom and now John Wayne, who's also joined the chat, are used to seeing in their versus levels.
Yes, definitely. Oof. Shoujo having to be careful here with the Meowser.
She's lost her safety net in the form of the... Ooh, that was close, but she does get it.
Oh! And she makes it to the flag, though she jumps over it.
Getting a bit too excited as she saw it.
But Curbs here still having the fire mushroom, so which gives him that little bit of bonus so he can hopefully kill this Meowser faster.
Yeah, Meowser being one of the more annoying bosses to kill in these sort of races, though. Obviously, with it constantly jumping off the screen and whatnot. Curbs not getting quite so overexcited with the flag.
Alright, this next level is interesting. Like, I want to say it looks like a... Oh no, I was going to say it wants to look like a speed run, but I think it's actually a reskinned starter screen.
Yeah, definitely might take some time to find the red coins if it's not exactly the same. But most of these players will know the starter screen levels back of their hands by now.
Yes, definitely.
LilKirbs deciding the red coins are optional, as he skips one. But no, he starts the level over. Maybe he's changed his mind about that.
He might have gotten to the point where he recognized it as the starter screen and thought, oh, maybe I do need those coins. Oh no! Shoujo taking a death on the last coin and saying, nah, I'm done. And I believe, is that her last skip?
That was her last skip by my counter, yep. As LilKirbs needs to kind of bang his head through this one. If he manages to clear it, obviously he'll tie it up, but with 20 seconds on the clock, I think that Shoujo might be taking this set.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it at this point, especially with where those red coins are placed. Yeah, I just don't think he's going to be able to do it in time.
Yeah, Shoujo looking next level and thinking, I'm not going to beat that in 3 seconds, and waiting happily in the menu. Taking this set, leaving the game 2-1 to LilKirbs.
Wow, that 9 clears to 8 clears, and that previous round 7-6, this was very close the whole time, which is always great to see.
Yeah, always impressive when you get runners of this caliber so close together. But not at all surprising with these two, both incredible players. So I'm not surprised how close they were.
Yes, definitely. We're gonna see if... Hello, LilKirbs.
Hi.
I'm just about to say we'll see if we can get you guys in for interviews, and then you came in.
It's perfect timing.
Yes. So, you both took a skip on the first round. There was that coin finding level where you had to find 2 coins. At what point did you decide it was worth the skip? If you remember, it was hidden spikes.
Let me actually scroll through the levels again. But Shoujo, if you remember that, you can talk about it.
Yeah,
If you don't remember, no issue.
first coin was...
Oh, the one where it was just the goalpost. So
Yes.
I saw that the coins were behind the goalpost, but I wasn't sure exactly how you got the second one. I was able to get the first one pretty easily, but I would die to the spikes getting to the second one. So I just said, I'm probably going to waste too much time on it, so I'm just going to skip it, move on to the next one.
Was that the same for you, Shoujo? Because I saw both of you easily picked up that first coin, but it was the second one that seemed to stop you both.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I thought I were...
There was another skip that I wanted to ask you both about as well, in that the cape level in the second set. Obviously, LilKirbs, you took 3 attempts at it and then just left that where it was, whereas Shoujo, you put quite a lot of time into it. Why did you put so much time into it when it wasn't working out?
I kind of assumed that there was...
I'm not sure if
I'm
we
not-
lost her.
Yeah.
Couple of cut-ins and out. But what about you, LilKirbs? You skipped it quite quickly. Was it you just saw that the mechanics weren't working and thought, no,
Yeah,
I'm
once I
not
got to
do
that
this one?
spring part, I thought it was a little bit too janky to kind of figure it out within that amount of time without wasting a bunch of lives. So I kind of just said, I'll skip it. Because I'm not too good with cape tech anyway, and combining that with the low gravity, it just wasn't going to work out.
Yeah. Chat actually asking us just to let you know, Kirbs, you know the level with the thwomp along the bottom, where you race the thwomp to the on-off at the end?
Yeah, that one.
You know the point where you got caught up and the thwomp got ahead of you on the first run?
Yeah,
Chat
were you able to just wait for that?
Yeah, Shoujo did
Yeah,
exactly
okay.
that. She off-screened the thwomp and then came back.
Got it.
And yeah, so one of the things was with that choice of skipping that cape level, I was gonna ask about too, so I'm glad that Avalon got to it first. It ended up being that second round, you took your 7th clear with like just a couple of seconds left on the clock. And because Shoujo had taken a little bit longer on that level, that's what made the difference. But I mean, we kept seeing that where you guys were neck and neck. Do you feel like that's just kind of how you always work with your skips? Or do you feel, maybe sometimes you're under more pressure depending on who you're facing?
It doesn't really matter who I'm facing. I mean, really, I'm just facing myself each time, trying to get my score higher and higher. So usually when I go into a level, I can judge if I want to skip it right away, or there's some times where I'm like, maybe it's okay if I get it like first or second try. Like I think in the 3rd round, there was that 50-second speedrun in SMB3. I got pretty far into it, but I ended up dying like right at the end, and I just said, I'm gonna skip it now before I die in it 3 more times, because that seems to be a common trend with me, especially in the past league, where I get overconfident with a level and it just doesn't work out. So I just try to make those early skip decisions.
Okay, so really you feel it's more about knowing yourself.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Alright, I'm not sure. I don't know that Shoujo is able to rejoin us.
It doesn't appear like she's able to come back, but she did also type in text chat that you could despawn the thwomp just to quickly rub that salt into the wound there, Kirbs. But well done. Curves, you there, obviously taking the win 2-1, so incredible job. And Shoujo also putting up a really good fight, like Trainer saying there, how close that middle round was, especially. Literally, that last clear you got with 4 seconds on the clock is where the game was settled there.
Yes, thank you so much.
So we're going to take a brief intermission and get a chance to tell you guys about pace. And then we will be back shortly after with Blue Chobaco and Bismuth.
Yeah, stick around.
They are synced.
They are synced now. Do whatever. In the lead again.
Wow. Side for sure from Cheese. Okay, doing it, moving. Oh no,